Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Neuroxus map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Northeast and ending with Team 2 in the Southwest, also known as the Blue Team versus the Red Team. Starting off with Team 1 Southern player, they're all nicely packed together, so there's really no spreading out, at least for now. We have in Stitch Blue, it is Zelby Lykob. He's playing as a Seraphim. He is a 1764 rated. He is the highest rated player on Team 1, just barely beating out his northern teammate of RNA. He's a 1742 rated, playing as a UEF in Amethyst Purple. And last but not least, for Team 1, we have in Royal Blue, it is Boom King playing as a UEF as well. He is a 1510 rated. I do expect, with a name like Boom King, to have lots of explosions, whether he causes them or they are caused to him. Something like that. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 UEF and a Seraphim, no Cybran and no Aeon Tech for Team 1. Starting off with Team 2's northern player, we have in Ruby Red, it is Starly playing as an Aeon, the one and only of the game. 1874 is their rating, highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall. To his south, we have in orange, the color orange, it is Carl playing as the one and only Cybran of the game at 1626 rated. And next door neighbor, another UEF in the game, it is Gorton, not Gordon. I will probably say his name Gordon with a D, but it is T. He is a UEF in Chevy Crimson as a 1525 rated. So for Team 2 side of the map, 1 Cybran, 1 UEF, and 1 Aeon. No Seraphim Tech for Team 2, and no Aeon and no Cybran Tech for Team 1. And for these 6 players on the map, let's take a look at the reclaim situation. Currently sitting at 6,000 mass in reclaim, which, is 1,000 mass per player. Most games I cast, 5v5, 6, 7, that kind of thing. 6,000 mass on the map, not a lot, but for 6 players, it's pretty decent. There's, of course, a couple of naval wrecks to grab, a couple of Cybran ones at a nice little angle there. And there's some reclaim kind of in the middle, but realistically, again, it's a little bit thin. But to note, there is about 1,000 for both teams to grab right at their front door. It's already been grabbed by both teams now, but it was there at one point. Taking a look at the mechs locations, of course, we have Team 1 on the eastern side, Team 2 on the western side. And there's a little bit of some twin mechs over in the northwest and southeastern corners. But the main clumpage or sections of reclaim that player, not reclaim, but mechs they want to grab, of course, are the quad mechs in the south and in the north, and then the 5-star mechs in the north and south as well, with another, not trimech, but 5-star mech position right next to the main bases. So there's a little bit of spreading out, but again, the map is kind of hampered by all of the water on this map. So I expect to see naval on naval combat. Team 2 is probably going to try to establish a naval facility here. Same thing for Team 1. Try to get on the other side of the map, trying to go down the middle. This is probably not going to work. What I mean by that is, let's say Team 2, for example, launches the attack, and they're trying to land naval facilities here. It's just not going to work because Team 1's probably going to put stuff here. It's just too close, and it's not going to work. So further away, the better. They just have to, of course, realize that this little narrow neck of environment, not great for naval units. Just it isn't. T1, T2s are fine, but we try to get to the T3 big battleships, and if they want to go T4s of either the Tempest or the Atlantis, it's not fun to try to traverse that thing. The pathfinding isn't the best. Com v Com action has already occurred. Starly of Team 2 and Boom King of Team 1. Team 1 PD already eradicated. Boom King hitting the back of Starly's Com just to do some damage to him. Of course, the Team 1 PD is being protected by said Com. We have units transported from the east over to that northern side of Team 2's landmass. Same thing for Team 2 to Team 1. Very mirroring each other, so there's really no variance in strategy for now. But the only difference being that Team 1 has 2 players over here, Team 2 has 2 players over here, and Team 1, it's a 1v1. So no advantage or disadvantage in terms of comm numbers, but of course Team 1 will have a slight better hit point count given they have 2 UEF and a Seraphim, versus an A on a Cybran and a UEF. And Starly again dropped into the yellow. We have Carl going to drop in the yellow here shortly. Boom King also dropping into the yellow. Not looking good, but again, it's shot for shot for shot. So realistically, it's going to be a murder-suicide if they do encourage that or want to go for it, but it doesn't look like really anybody wants to be kicked out. 7 minutes on the clock, so they're going to either stay near the water or go in the water just in case. We do see Gorton has dropped into the yellow, almost the same thing with Zelby, but he's going to retain that shoreline for now. Team 1 still has some sort of presence in the north for now, but I don't know if they'll stay like that for much longer. Carl drops into the reds, almost Boom King. Again, this could be a scenario where Team 2 just goes for a murder-suicide. Maybe Carl drops into the red. Boom King is going to fall back, so no, they don't want to give the kill that early, and it's partially probably because of how close the main bases are. That's a lot of eco that just sits there undeterred by Team 1, so that just gives somebody else just a massive jump in economy. So probably just leave it in the hands of each of the players and be done with it. We have Team 1 naval units online with no facility. Oh, no, they're down here. Okay, I'm just staring at them. Of course, I'm blind. 8 minutes in the game. Sounds about right. Team 1, no naval facilities online yet, but they have the northern side on lock for now. Team 2 have the southern side on lock for now. We do see Gorton now back on the shoreline, scooping up a couple of facilities and units just to get a little bit of eco into his veins and try to slowly push out Zelby. Again, he has a slight disadvantage in hit point count currently. Total hit points, it's not by much. It's about 500 hit points total between the base total hit points between the two players. But a T2 upgrade, a gun upgrade could easily switch things up for either one of them. I will snipe him, says Carl, talking about Zelby. So it looks like Team 2 is going to put some more pressure on that southern side. T2 air is started. And like he said, he's going for snipers, which means Corsairs and T1 bombers just in case. Boom King says T2 bombers, so Team 1's aware of that in some degree. And those Corsairs are inbound. There are 4 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them. I can count, I promise. Zelby already notices that message and gets in the water immediately. Nice moves there. Nice assistance by Team 1's Boom King. He saw it. He went, hey, you should watch out for that. He goes, okay, gets in the water and goes, that's good. And make sure he's, no, don't get out of the water now. He was in the water for 2 seconds, and now he's back out of the water. Corsairs are going to miss him, maybe. Interceptors moving in to go after the interceptors. Corsairs go, oh, yeah, there's a comm there. We should probably double back and go after him. Looks like they are going to go after him, and Zelby goes, oh, that's it. No, don't shoot at me, please. The Corsair missiles, though, are kind of easy to dodge, to be honest. I mean, they're not entirely, dodgeable for forever, of course, just due to the sheer number of them being launched at him for now. But as much damage has been thrown at him, it's not that much. He's only dropped into the high-ish yellows. He's going to go right back in that water where he should have sat initially, but it did give him a little bit more time to either get his own interceptors or his teammates' interceptors to come in and will intercept the Corsairs for him. So at a bare minimum, it did help at least in a small degree that way. And there's also some flak nearby starting to emerge from Zelby as well. The Corsairs have been starting to be thinned out. The interceptors are gone for the most part, so those Corsairs are not going to have a fun time over there. Northwestern corner, gun, advance range, and speed done for Starley. Team 2 is most likely going to lose this position, and it's going to be naval warfare in the north. T2 started on board RNA's comm in that little pond there. Maybe going to do a little bit of counter PD creeping, maybe, but for now, that advanced range comm is going to be a nuisance for Team 2. And I will note that because this is a naval map, Team 2 has the only unit in the game, being the Salems, that can traverse from Navy to land or sea to land. Granted, Team 1 and Team 2 both have hover tech units at their disposal, so there's that, and goes from land to Navy, but Navy to land is only unique to the Cybrans. We do see T2 Naval Headquarters is online for Gorton, but I don't think it's going to be like that for much longer. Yenzin are inbound. There's a couple of Team 1 Thunderbirds nearby, some frigates. T2 engineers are being built, but I don't think that's going to last much longer due to the sheer number of Yenzin spammed by Zelby. So that's going to be a nice little victory for Team 1. It will slow down Team 2's aggression in the south and maybe give a little bit of breathing room to have naval facilities built over here to have a proper naval fight in the south and in the north. T2 started on board RNA's comm, and I didn't note about this beforehand, but the map is impassable this way. At least it, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it's just very annoying. So having major land battles down the middle is not going to work. It's going to be the hover, it's going to be the transports, it's going to be more of those sneakily tactics, not just, here, let's line up your forces, let's line up mine, and just throw them at one another and see what happens kind of thing. It's not going to happen like that this game, at least in terms of the land units, at least. T2 Naval Headquarters being wiped out soon. We have more forces actually going around and not going straight across. There's some T1 PD there making a little bit annoying for those T1 and T2 units to pass through. Yenzin have almost eliminated their headquarters. A couple more shots will do it in. The other facilities will be wiped out here shortly. Team 2 will lose Navy in the south for now. There'll still be a sub or two mixed in, but it's not really worth mentioning because there's a sub or two. Looks like it's only just one. So there's really not a lot of firepower in the south for Navy for now. T2 almost done for RNA. Not done yet, but looks like he's paused possibly for power outages, I would presume. Ooh, yep, not doing good on power. And that's with the upgrade pause, so not doing good there. We have T2 counter hover tech inbound, some blazes moving in on the Team 1's turf, and we do see some arrows being pointed like, hey, go this way. We have a couple of Riptides moving in as well as some strikers just to head them off at the pass, but Mexes will be eliminated. But there's still a ton of Yenzin down here for Team 1's Zelby as well, so same situation. There's a lot more for Team 1, but it's the same situation nonetheless. These units are already here, though. So that is the main difference. T2PD being built by Boom King to deal with a couple of these blazes. But he's going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mexes. Some of them single ring, some of them not. And T1 PD being added to the mix to assist Riptides. Trying to help out and thin their numbers out as fast as possible. More Yenzin now inbound from Zeba to do the same. We have some blazes in the base for Team 1's Boom King. That's never fun. And it looks like RNA is getting a hefty amount of eco for that I was going to say T3 air facility, but nope. Hasn't done that yet. T3 land done for Team 2. T3 air done for Team 2 as well. So they have the best units for the Aeon and the best air units for the UEF. Actually, Cybern at their disposal. Land units have been dealt with. And we have some gunships, some T2s. That's not really going to do a whole lot. Interceptors getting in behind the interceptors from Team 2. And that's going to be the death of at least 2, if not 3. They might get a T2 mech, maybe. And those interceptors aren't really doing much. There's the second gunship. One more remains. More interceptors inbound from RNA now. And there's that gunship dead and gone. So no mechs is eliminated, unfortunately. The main damage to Team 1 was done from those blazes. Team 2 now in the lead for eco, 300 to 270. So about 30 or 40, but it does look like that number might drop a little bit more with some Yenzin inbound from Zelby. They've had a little bit of time to prep for this anyways, so they're not going to be as effective as the ones from Team 2 have been. But, you know, that some of the mexes will go down nonetheless. Some E-storages would be a nice target just to wipe out some, you know, power for Team 2. They have 64,000 in their bar. They could wipe, you know, a decent chunk off the map pretty quickly. Another T2 mechs trying to be dealt with. Looks like the Yenzin are being driven this way. Team 1 P-Gen's going to be shot at. Not really that fun, but, you know, some power loss is better than no power loss, I guess. And at this stage, probably don't even really a crazy amount to lose just because T2 P-Gens are going to be the main source of power anyways. Another mechs probably will die here. Ooh, oh, that one hits the other T2 mechs. That's unfortunate. It wouldn't have been enough to kill it. The second shot, I think it was 200 damage per shot, so that would have been 1 and then 2. And that would have been enough to kill off that T2 mechs. But now the ecos are in favor for Team 1 by a little bit more than what Team 2 was in the lead by. But again, it's not a crazy amount. We're talking about a little bit over a T2 mech single ranged for Team 1. It's about 40 mass, so it's not a crazy amount. easily recoverable. We have missiles inbound from RNA. He has gun T2 and missile on board. Boom King has only T2 on board. I hope to see a Billy Nuke with half of the players in the game having UEF tech. I mean, it makes it not a 1 out of 3 chance, but there's more chances to see a Billy Nuke than there are if there were less UEF. Now, if we had a Billy Nuke ambassador or 2 in this game, that'd be a different story, but, you know, there is that couple of facilities being Control K'd. Probably for reclaim purposes, they can kind of see the writing on the wall. Team 1 is holding roughly, but we have Harbingers here. We have Sniper Bots here. We have, of course, the Aeon Sniper Commander of Starly here. Carl is over here. He's just himself, but there's a lot of firepower for Team 2 here. And there's not a ton for Team 1. If there were Percys here, if there were Parashields here, or at least more of them, it would be a different story. But I don't think Team 2 is going to hold on to this beachhead for long. Team 2 on the southern side is going to look not too great. They're going to get probably another black eye or so. Another, what, 20, 30 something. Okay, I can't count those. 30 Yenzin are inbound. Maybe 28 of them, 27 of them will reach because the bomber shooting at them. But we have this set of mexes is vulnerable. These sets of mexes are vulnerable. These ones are vulnerable. Everything on this western side is vulnerable. And yeah, there are Harbingers and other blazes nearby. But by the time they kill off a huge portion of that army, good luck. Calm back, says Boom King, talking to RNA, being like, probably a good idea. Zelby going for missile. He can't go for Billy Nuke because he's a Seraphim, but he can go for missile nonetheless. So maybe everybody on Team 1 has TAC missile. That would be interesting to see. Starly, again, out in front with his forces, really doing a great job of getting some veterancy on board. 3-star already, almost going to close on probably 4 by the time he's done with this little base. But again, there are some Yenzin back here, and they've actually been dealt with quite nicely by the Harbingers. Only 1, 2, 3 mixes. Maybe it's only 100 damage per shot. I thought it was 200 per shot. Maybe it's only 100. They do lose 3 of the 4 mexes, which better than losing this set of mexes and this set of mexes and this set of mexes kind of thing. But it's still lost in Eco. Team 1 still retaining that 40 to 50 mass lead. It's, again, not a super critical amount of mass per second. When we talk about, 100 mass per second at 40 minutes, it's actually, worse in terms of that discrepancy. Not worse, but better in terms of that percentage. Because Team 1's ahead, a decent amount of percentage now, but that same amount 10, 15, 20 minutes later, the percentage has gone down. It's not as impactful. We do see that Team 2 has launched another attack now onto this western side of the shore. And there is a PD there. There's not a lot. It will kill off maybe a blaze or 2 before those get close by. A couple of naval facilities online. Looks like 1 here and just the 1. Never mind. T2 is on its way, but it's going to be a minute. And those blazes have dealt with 5 mexes. And there goes that lead for Team 1, dropping to essentially dead even between both teams. And a couple of bombers going after that blaze in particular. They don't like that one. The fire on the shore, but not on the water. Because fire does float, but not like that. And there goes a slow demise of Team 2's army. Again, not a terrible amount, but it is something to lose nonetheless. And it does, of course, it did do some damage. It did do a thing. I can talk. T2 Navy built very quickly. For Starly, getting some destroyers online incredibly quickly. Team 1 still doesn't have T2 Navy online. That's probably going to hurt them. Maybe soon, maybe later. But they do have T2 Navy down here, and that's been very, very useful, just keeping Team 2 at bay on the southern side. Look at this. They have almost the prime meridian eastern side of the map under their control. It's more like this. Actually, it's more like I can't draw straight. You get my point. It's not exactly a 90 degree or 180 degree angle. Missiles inbound. Looks like T2 TMD hasn't been built yet. So no, there's some there. There is some buzzkills there. They are sometimes a buzzkill, to be honest. But PD could be a nice target. Looks like he's going to go for that PD emplacement. There goes that one. He has 1 more to deal with. He has a couple of T1s. But that opens the door for either naval units or even just the hover tech units to get a little bit closer to that shoreline. Tort bombers inbound. Looks like they were trying to go after RNA maybe. Maybe they saw something in the water and went, let's target that thing. And they do hit him for a little bit of damage, but honestly, it's not a lot. There's not a lot of torp bombers, and there's ASFs online, so they got wiped out fast. Anyways, torp bomber's going to drop another set of payloads inbound. They're going to drop them into not even the yellow yet. Close, but not the yellow yet. 4-star vet on board. 7.5k mass kill with that. Commander, of course, very much assisted by that missile launcher on his backpack. Or in his backpack? As his backpack? Just his backpack. And the ASF's cleaning up the skies, allowing maybe some T2 fighter bombers from Team 1. I'm surprised to not see Janus or some Nathas or any of those fighter bombers from Team 1. It's just being T3, but the T2 naval headquarters, that's going to really suck for Team 1. It's essentially echoing what happened earlier in the south. It's just not going to be fun for them. The blazes, of course, can you do AoE damage to your own units? Let's see, hold on. No, that wasn't close enough. A blaze get next to that air cleaner. No? It's too close. Maybe not. I know you can friendly fire your teammates' units. I know that can be done. But I don't think you can friendly fire your own units. And the Exodus is going to help finish off this. Actually, it misses that. Never mind. Just completely ignore what I just said. Lots of blazes inbound. Will it finish off the headquarters? It's trying to stay alive. We have a one solitary T3 gunship inbound. And if it targets the... Oh, never mind. Somebody shot it with a missile. Looks like that was RNA. Shot it with a missile. That'll work. Cruiser on board. That's going to deal with the gunship. And now the T2 naval headquarters is gone. Team 1 desperately needs another one, either in this corner or in this bay right here. They just need something because Team 2 is going to pump stuff out. And I wouldn't be surprised maybe if they just go to T3. Transports inbound with some blazes on board, and they're definitely going to thin out that 5-star expedition on that western side, especially with these blazes continuing to just push, and then push Team 1 backwards. T2 air facility online, T3 land facility online, T3 land facility also online producing Perseus. And those Harbingers have made landfall. RNA might be moving in over there. We do see the cruiser shooting at the comm a little bit, but the secondary weapon systems on board cruisers really aren't great. It's something. It's better than nothing, but it's not great. Gunships inbound, going to kill off the remaining Harbingers, but they're going to kill off essentially everything here, or if not everything, pretty close to everything. RNA hits another unit with his missile. ASFs inbound from Team 2 wipe out those gunships. Where are the ASFs for Team 1? They're over there. Torp bombers inbound. Guess where those are going? Gunships inbound. Guess where those are going? Going after that cruiser. Bombers are going to get a little bit closer because the gunship's taking most of the flak. And there goes the cruiser. Another one is online. It's going to be a bunch of trades. Team 2 sent their army southward. There are some Team 1 PD there. So good luck with that. And it looks like engineers are building more PD as we speak to shove them away. Team 2 did the same thing down in the south. Speaking of which, Team 2 is being invaded once again by Team 1's not only land forces, but being shot at by the laser weapons from those T2 destroyers, the Huashovo T2 Seraphim destroyers that can act as little submarines. And that T3 Pigeon, that would be a nice grab. T3 land headquarters, that would be a good grab. Just wiping out power and ability to build higher tier units. And it looks like ASFs have come to ruin the day of the the bombers from Team 2. I'm trying to talk so fast my brain can't process all of the things. All the destroyers are gone, however. There are missiles, and missiles could be shooting at that. It's almost there. It's almost dead. Just kill off 2,500 power. Starly's not going to be happy about that. He's only really positive, essentially 0, so that would definitely ruin his day with not having any more power. But with all those bombers inbound, yeah, that's not going to be a happy day for that cruiser either. There go the hit points, and there they went. We have cruiser missile fire raining in on the southern side as well. And that is the one thing Team 1 does have in spades. Everybody on Team 1 has access to cruiser missile technology. Team 2 only has Gorton. Now, they still have it, to be fair, but in the south, that's where he's posted up right now. Team 2 in the north, that's where might want to go UEF tech, even if it's just for bulwark and cruisers, would be probably a very, very good use of a T2 naval headquarters up there. And what that would do is that would also secure the facility for Gorton as well. So if you put a facility here and here, he'd at least, have a backup, so he doesn't have to worry about losing his headquarters and losing out on T2 tech in the south. So it's a nice thing to have. But, you know, that's food for thought. No facility yet for Team 1, just going straight bombers, gunships, and the whatnot. We have transports dropping off a section of Othams inbound. What would a group of Othams be called? Everything in life has like a parliament of owls and a murder of crows and what's another one? I think a gaggle of something. I forget what the gaggle's for. But what would a group of Othams or Perseus or bricks? I mean, I feel like a wall would just be a group of bricks is just a wall of bricks. I feel like that's kind of just obvious. T2 naval headquarters wiped out by the bombers from Team 1's R9. Nice grab there. It'll slow down Team 2's aggression in Navy for at least a time being. And Team 2, speaking of which, does have access to T3 Aeon technology, which means they have access to the very, very, very brutal T3 bomber, the Solaces. Those things are nasty little things. They drop so many torps at a time and do so much damage. So kind of surprised we're not seeing any air tech yet. T2 air is online though, so maybe I'll be proven wrong. But for now, we haven't seen it just yet. 28 minutes on the clock. Team 1 and Team 2 have not lost a player. That's partially due to the lack of Convicom engagements. We've had a little bit in the beginning in the south and in the north, but they've been pretty far back for the most part since then. I mean, the only player that's really far forward for Team 1 is Zelby, and these two are from Team 2 over here to the west, that being Carl and Starly. But again, no real combat engagements. You could say the comm of Zelby just because of the missile, but very standoffish, just launching missiles and isn't really launching any more missiles, at least for now. So I would presume everybody's going to make it past 30 minutes, but you know what happens when you assume and all that stuff, so I'll just say for now, Team 1 and Team 2 at 3 players left. Team 1 and Team 2 eco-wise dead even. A little bit variance, but for the most part, dead even. And map control, I'd say maybe a little bit in favor for Team 1, especially considering the southern side, but honestly, Team 2 has control of the Northern Navy anyways, for the most part. So realistically, it's the same, kind of, but Navy's fluid, and it's really hard to really pin down who has what, when, where, why, and how. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please let me know down in the comments again who you think is going to win at this point in the game. Again, thank you so much for watching to this point, about halfway. I really, really do appreciate it. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And again, as a PSA for tomorrow, it is one day before the Viewer Wednesday. So if you have a cast that you've been sitting on, you're like, well, should I send it to him or not? Send it to me. I usually look at them between today recording this video and tomorrow when this video releases. So make sure you send it in. I'll take a look at it, find a cast from the list that I got, and you'll see it tomorrow. So again, thank you ahead of time. Thank you in the past. Thank you in the future. Thank you present. Thank you so much. As always, thank you, 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 thank you. And one more time, thank you. Couple of bombers being just thrashed by ASFs from Team 1. I'm surprised not a lot of AA's been built. You know, right about here, granted it would be shot at by the Exodus class anyways, but, you know, attempts and the whatnot. We do see T3 Neptunes. Yes, glory to King Poseidon himself. The Neptune is being built, and that will ravage these destroyers. And they are not giving up on going after this 5-storm exposition once again. This one over here to the west is being rebuilt, but it's heavily damaged once again, and it can't really get off the ground. There's the battle cruiser. It's online. Team 2 goes, nope, I'm going home now. Nope, nope, nope. And we're going home. We'll still take some shots on the way out, but yeah, it's just when that thing makes its appearance, you just don't really get a lot of chances to take it out for now. Granted, it's only one unit online for Team 1, so they have that going for Team 2, but still. And still, the spam is just being manufactured by Team 1. Granted, it's T2 hover spam, but it's still spam nonetheless. We see nice grouping of cruisers. Would love to see a destroyer or two mixed in there just to have it. But again, that's what the hover tanks are for anyways. We have cruisers constantly shooting at this little shield TMD base that's been spammed up. More is better. More is better. There is an SMD and there is a nuke. I don't like the placement of said nuke. And where do these Othams come from? They just were ravaging Team 2's backline. Not a lot of dead stuff, to be honest with you, but they have killed off a shield, which is nice. They're about to kill off maybe a T3 P-Gen. That's going to hurt. a couple of stuff. There goes a couple of air facilities. Those Othams are dead. Did they just trundle all their way over? Looks like they did. Because I think we saw 4 dropped off, and there's 2 right there. And looks like maybe no, that's probably a destroyer down there or a cruiser or something. But I don't see the other 2. But SMD, and no SMD yet. Maybe SMD in the north, maybe soon. But Team 2 getting SMDs online. Nuke is online, not loaded yet, but 33 minutes almost on the clock. And I'd assume at maybe 34, 35, depending on the assistance, it'll be done. That'll be the first nuke of the game, unless Team 1 already has one pretty much loaded. And they do not. They do have an SMD. No SMD here. So I'm assuming the western bases, or even the southern bases, are going to be vulnerable to Team 2's nuke. And I don't know if Team... Oh, they do. Okay, never mind. That close. I don't like how close the nuke is, only because Zelby doesn't have to go that far over, and it looks like maybe some of them can even hit the nuke already anyways. It's just... don't like how close it is. I really don't. You know, put it back here. I get, you know, engineers having to travel, all that stuff. I get it. But look at this. It's inbound for Team 1. We see some Percy's mixed in. T2PD being built. We have Gordon having T3 engineering speed on board. Tons of hover spam. Team 1 went for it. They're not going to get the nuke, but they've done significant damage to the frontline base. A lot of the Team D is now knocked out. Gives a huge amount more working room for Team 1's cruisers. That's a good point to start going after either the SMD or the nuke, or both. Probably the nuke first, and then SMD later. Transport has been possibly spotted, and it looks like it's going to maybe drop off just in the water. Yep, there they go, and just sink right to the bottom. They probably have some initial dampers or whatever on their vessels to deal, their units to be able to deal with that initial just impact. Battleship online for Team 2. Battlecruisers online for Team 1. No AA. That's unfortunate. And Neptune has taken significant damage. No cruisers. There is a battle. Okay, never mind. There is a cruiser. I can stand corrected now. No other naval assistance in the north from RNA, but I guess that makes sense just because he's air, which UEF doing UEF things. 34 minutes on the clock. There it is. Not done yet, but it's there. Granted, the nuke is almost loaded, but that's not UEF doing UEF things. That's just a player doing player things. That's a UEF doing UEF things up in the north. It's just, you know, yeah. It's only one. It's not that bad. Granted, if it was like 4 or 5 of them by now, that'd be insane. But wouldn't be surprised if somebody's trying to rush satellites. And that Neptune's about to die. One more volley will kill him off. Yep, there he goes. Neptune is gone. Pretty much think you should have just sent that home. Destroyers and battleships now shooting at that frontline Neptune. The 2 things that the Neptune lacks in this game: range and hit points. Doesn't lack DPS. Doesn't like versatility. It has TMD. It has torpedoes. It has torp defense. It doesn't have tactical missile launchers, to be fair. But besides that, it has very versatile weapon systems. Twin dual laser cannons. Twin dual or 2 dual. I always think it's 2 dual laser cannons. Not, maybe it is twin dual laser, because twin is 2 and dual is 2. But I feel like that's redundant, but it's not redundant. It's weird. Maybe it's twin, because these are triplets. These are triplet cannons. Triplet something. I don't know. Words are hard, and naming, scheming, and whatnot is also hard. These are just 1 cannon shots. It makes it very easy. They shoot there's a couple of them. They shoot 1 ball of plasma. It's very easy. Summits, Neptunes, they shoot sets of things. In the south, the nuke is loaded. I wonder if he's going to go after the naval pressure. That would alleviate a ton from that eastern side and maybe help him work more northward, or just be able to build that base up and keep it, and then maybe focus on the northern side. Team 1's aware of the nuke, so it's not like they don't have S&D coverage already, which they do. They're going for another one now. It's going to be loaded, I think, before the nuke lands, if it was landing on his side of the map. And there's another SMD here just in case. I love that from RNA. He's like, hey, let me help you out a little bit, get you an SMD. He's like, thanks, I'm getting for one myself. But this also protects the naval headquarters as well. and this one does as well. So it's a nice little overlapping. You definitely want overlapping coverage with SMDs just in case one isn't loaded, because, you know, people launch nukes at you and then they deplete your stockpile and then stuff goes boom boom and it's not fun. Southern side, a little bit more standoffish for both teams. Looks like a couple of Othams. They can't target the blazes because the blazes are hover. The Othams are not, but they do have torpedoes and no torp defense. That's only bricks, I think, that have torp defense on board. Cruiser online for Carl. Help push back a little bit. Nuke is outbound, and yes, it does go for the T3 naval headquarters. That is so unfortunate because Team 1 just built that moments ago. I'm very close, says Boom King, which, to be fair, it's going to load anyways before that nuke even got to him. So there's that, but it's going to go short, go for the headquarters. Lots of PD going to go down. The second facility going to go down. Kaboom! Granted, it's not going to kill a lot of mass off, 24,000, but it kills off the T3 naval headquarters that's been pressuring him. Technically it's been T2 for a while, but T3 one that's been pressuring him this entire time. So at a bare minimum, it buys him a heck of a lot of time to deal with whatever's still alive, and then he can maybe push in and maybe try to grab the shoreline, maybe not. But T2 Navy online for the other two players on team. Well, Gordon has his, and then Carl has his as well. So 2 versus 0. Not fun for Team 1, but he might start pulling back and maybe invest in more longer range tech. Satellite online. Satellite actually not doing offensive thing. It's doing UEF thing. It's doing defensive thing. The name of the satellite. It's a defense satellite, not an offensive satellite, which everybody else and their grandmother and great grandmother uses it for. But Tempest online. We have Atlantis almost online, so it's going to be 1v1 in experimental warfare. That way, that's the first experimental. Well, technically that one was the first, but this one is the first units. Technically, that's kind of a unit, but you get my point. First and second experimental units are done, and I don't see anything else yet. Kind of surprised not to see a chicken be built by Zoba to just walk it across. I feel like that would have been very nice to see, or even Team 2 doing the exact same thing with a monkey or crab, or a GC or something, or Fat Boy something. But Atlantis online cannot target the hover tech units, and as long as it stays below the surface of the water, he'll be fine for now. Still is vulnerable to torpedoes, though. It doesn't have its own torp defense on board. 3 summits, 3 battleships versus 3 battleships plus a 4th one. So 4, and it's soon to be a second one online. And we see another one being built. Wow, those are being built real quick. Jeez. T2 torp bombers inbound, T3 gunships inbound. Team 1, I did see it, but I didn't make note of it. Does have air control, probably dominance at this point, at least over 50. Targeting all of the cruisers first. Shoot at the stuff that can shoot at you, and then shoot at everything else. Very, very good tactic. I see T3 gunships and T2 gunships mixed in. That Tempest is not going to have a fun day. Where is the AA? I think we see it being built now. There's some Transcender T3 SAM sites. And that Tempest is losing hit points incredibly fast. 1 battleship already done. It was trying to hide underneath the surface, but didn't get there in time. That's unfortunate for it. Second Tempest about half done. Torp bombers immediately going for that one. They're going to delay that construction incredibly quickly and probably even deny it outright. And there it goes. Satellite also over top. Second battleship about to go down. And it might survive, but we have summits shooting from nearby, or roughly nearby, and yeah, that's not going to be fun. They're trying to repair it as it's sinking. I don't think that's how that works. Because it looks like because you can't reclaim it until it's stopped moving, and then you can reclaim it. That's the one thing with naval units. I mean, you do get that with air units, but you don't have flying engineers to try to reclaim it as the unit is crashing down to the ground. Second battleship is down. Third battleship about to go down, unless it gets shot up by a summit or 2. Ooh, 600 hit points remain. There goes that. Now it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1 with 3 Atlantis. The one thing to note, the summit's not really great at close range fires, so definitely Neptune or 2, some destroyers, something to kind of act as a nice little buffer. That cruiser's gone, and all of those summits are being driven back. But the Omen said hi, and the Omen's going to say bye now because it walked a little bit too close to the sun. It looked like an artillery shot. Where was that from? That's from that summit, but it just looked like it came from, way further back than it actually did. Speaking of artillery, is Team 2 building anything longer range tech? No, yeah, look at that. Carl is building a disruptor as we speak. Anything else for Team 2? Nope. Team 1, besides the nuke, of course, that it's already reloaded. Team 1 has the satellite. Looks like it's the only one being built. At least he's getting some vision, passive vision around the map. Love to see that, of course. Where is it? It's over here, going after T2 mexes. They're going to be shielded, I would assume, here shortly. And he's attacking the asylums. It's an interesting choice, to say the least. But, it is going to help out the naval units for sure. The summit is now... Not summit. The Omen is now ground firing on the Atlantis, because that can help. And Nuke is inbound. It's going to wipe out this position. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 mexes here. They are single ringed, almost all single ringed. So, 27 times 4 is 108. And then a lot of T1 land facilities. There are a couple of T2s mixed in there. I don't know if it's that viable. I probably would have just killed off the headquarters again. But it does wipe out some eco nonetheless. Team 1 at 1.3, Team 2 at 1,000. Only 2 of the 4 mexes are dead, but it does drop to 1.2. So it looks like it was just barely over the 1.3 threshold. But kaboom, nonetheless. Team 1 air control. We see 122 for Team 1. And Carl has 44. So, yeah, still air dominance, not supremacy yet. But it's pretty close. 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Atlantis online. Atlantises. That is a lot of firepower in the water. Granted, it's not super viable. And there goes Atlantis just eaten by that Tempest and Omen. But at a bare minimum, it is slowly eradicating said Omen, and it's going to go after that Tempest. Oh, there it is. Oh, look at how it highlights itself. Look at how it just shines on the shines in the water, not on the water. Look at that. It's really good down there. And you can actually see it, and you can actually see what it is. It's kind of nice. Some of the units that go under the water, depending on how the water is colored, it's very difficult to see, but I do like the little highlights. It's kind of nice. Granted, it's a bright highlight, which does help with that, but it's just nice to see nonetheless for a caster point of view, and I bet a player would like to see that kind of as well. Nuke is still being reloaded, but second nuke did land successfully, of course. The battleship is online. See, that's not good for Team 2. That's probably why I would have gone after that. And unlike Team 1's facility, that's technically all the way back here, but they have the second one up here. Team 1's facility is just right there. So they're immediately able to just shoot right off of that shipyard and bombard that frontline position. Tons of Othams are making their way across the map. We have bricks underneath the surface. Not enough for a wall of bricks. We'll have to think about how many classify as wall bricks. But ASF engagement, that's a complete win for Team 1. Even if you lost half, that's still a win at 120 to pretty much, I would assume, a dozen or so. That is a win. Another Atlantis is dead. That's number 3 dead to that Tempest. Tempest has killed off 42,000 mass, and that Tempest is about to go down. Tons of Team 1 torp bombers. Torp launchers have been built. All of the asylums and then some trying to protect that Tempest. There goes the Tempest. It's down, but that Atlantis is not going to go home. Look at the hit points just drop off. That's like a guy trying to lose, or somebody trying to lose weight, and just whatever he's eating or doing is just having the weight just fall off him. That'd be nice to just have, whatever flab of fat or whatever that's on me just fall off, just doing a little bit of work. That'd be nice. Doesn't usually happen that way, of course, but it would be nice nonetheless. T2 artillery, tons of T2 hover tech spam. T2 land headquarters, at least that was T2. T2 land headquarters, or T2 naval headquarters, that could be taken out, but I think the battleships will deal with that here shortly. But Team 1 is still winning the naval game. Still some resistance from Team 2, but not that much. Artillery, though, is online. And what is it targeting? Chunk of the air grid is already gone for Team 1. Satellite is protected with shields. Love to see that. SMD is protected. Needs a little bit more. And more shield for all of those SMDs. Looks like he's going to get more shielding there. And that air grid is not great. He still has air control for now. But again, for now, keyword in that statement. Second artillery has been started by Carl, and this might be the point of the game where Team 1 needs to think about other strategies because Navy is only going to get them so far. Now, if they do get to the shoreline over here, they can hit the disruptor. But Team 2 should be prepping either artillery or PD or both or missile launchers or something, because those battleships are coming online. There's 3 of them now, and the slow demise of the southern side is definitely underway. Some more resistance units from the Salems. The T3 naval headquarters is done. The fact that it's still alive is definitely surprising. It's going to be a while before that battleship is done. It will help even the odds a little bit, even just if it's a 3-1 versus a 0-3. But still, air grid is gone. And T3 air headquarters is still alive for now. T2 shield back online to protect the headquarters, but not for long as well. SMD is protected. SMD is getting more protected. Team 1 does have... Oh, look at that. They have their own artillery. I completely just spaced that, but they have 1 artillery versus 1 artillery. And I wonder what it's shooting at, because there's only 1 object that you would really want to shoot at. Ooh, that's going to hit. No. Target. There you go. Target the generators. Target the power generators. Not power generators, but the shield generators. Ooh. Or you could just blow up a P-gen and blow up the artillery that way. That's not great for Team 2. Their second artillery is barely underway, and there goes a P. It's gone anyway. Sorry about that. Caster's curse there. So Team 2 gained a huge win over Team 1 with not dominating, but taking out their air. And all the facilities are gone, but they did lose their artillery in the process. They still have their air, so there is that. T3 Aeon, no Aeon air for Team 2. I feel like that's such a missed opportunity with those solaces. The battleship's starting to pierce the shielding. There's a decent amount of Ravagers in the mix. It prevents any sort of close range units, whether they be destroyers or Yenzin or otherwise. But counter hover spam in the north. Nuke is outbound. It's going to edge. Oh, do not tell me that's going to edge Nuke. That artillery, that's going to suck, because that SMD is definitely not in range. That is not even the right player to select the SMD. It might do that that kind of hook landing where, it goes, and then it hooks a little bit. That right there, that might... Oh, no, it doesn't. Is that in range? Oh, it's not, but still, I'll say kaboom, but it's not a kaboom or anything. It's a kaboom. Yeah, Gordatoni's like, dang it. It did do some damage, so it's not like it's unprotected for forever, but there is an SMD being built now. Did it do any damage to the Duke at all? And that would be a yes to that comment if I was in the chat. SMD is still there, and Nuke is almost reloaded, so it might load in time. Might being the keyword, because SMD is getting some assistance. More P-gens are being built by RNA. And he's going to transition to more long-range tech, I would assume, because why not? He's lost his there anyways. Team 2 still holding the northern side. Tons of Team 1 torp launchers protecting the facility, as well as protecting the construction yards for the Galactic Colossus. We don't see where that other one went. I don't even know where it went or what it did, but I would assume that it's dead. That's making that assumption, because it was walking over there, and I think it did some damage, and then I don't know how far it got, but I don't think it got that far. And even if it did, the wreck is already probably reclaimed anyways. So, yeah. Pigeon. Ooh, artillery and Pigeon wipes out the air grid for Team 2. Not Pigeon. Satellite and artillery wipe out that array of air facilities. That's got to hurt. 50 minutes on the clock. Team 2 has no air control or any air facilities remaining, and no artillery. We have Othams on the western edge. We have bombardment still from the battleships. They're moving back into range now. We have a nice little aircraft. Couple of bricks going after the T3 naval headquarters. Don't know why they popped out of the water, because they have torpedoes on board. I mean, it does more damage. It does more damage faster if it gets out of the water and actually shoots it with its main cannons. But, I feel like it would have been more protected doing it that way. No second artillery piece yet for Team 1 that I've noticed. They're rebuilding the air grid, at least part of it. T2 air facility going for T3 to get a backup just in case for Boom King. No booms from him. That's kind of unfortunate. And I will note, 5-0. Repeated, 5-0 minutes on the clock. Nobody has died. And we're closing in on the end of the game. So maybe this will be the first time in at least this caster's history that he has seen/casted a game where nobody dies. It is possible. It's going to be unlikely given there is a Cybern on team. Yep, there it is. Yep, right there. I knew it. I knew it once I said it. I'm like, yep, it's not going to happen. So he's going to build that laser. He's going to build the teleport. He's going to try to go after one of the players, and maybe he'll get somebody. But no! Scratch that. Team 2 recalls the game, and for the first time on the channel, nobody dies. Wow, that is... I was like, oh, it's not going to happen, and the game was over. I was like, I thought the game was longer than that, but I guess not. But that is the game here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm surprised. First time on the channel, history has been made. Nobody has died in a game. Granted, it was a FAF game, and it was a 3v3 in a FAF game. It was a ladder match, and it was a 3v3, so less chance of dying. But still, great nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. MVP, I mean... everybody on Team 1 had their role, and they did it pretty well. We had Zelby on the southern side put a lot of pressure on Team 2. We had Boom King, once he got into Navy, helped push back Navy. Granted, we still had seen some resistance from Starly anyways, so it was a great back and forth there. We had RNA with the satellite, artillery, and air. You know, both teams, again, better for Team 1, but still Team 2 did wipe out Team 1's air grid, then Team 1 wiped out Team 2's air grid and their artillery piece, so... very much a back and forth, but I can see Team 2's thought process of it's not really going anywhere in the Navy side for the most part. We have land incursions now, a couple of SACUs just building some PD because why not? And the southern side is being bombarded by not only artillery fire, and the nuke is gone. I didn't even notice that. The nuke is gone, and it's going to be an eventual destruction of at least this in the next maybe minute or two, and then this the next 5 minutes. And then this the next, 8 to 9 minutes because the battleship's going to come in range. You have more battleships being built all the time. So that damage is going to grow consecutively, but consistently. So it's just only a matter of time. So I do understand Team 2 is leaving. I wish they stayed for maybe a little bit longer, especially with the comm. As much as I wanted to have a game where nobody dies at the end, I do also want to see at least somebody go down in a blaze of glory, even if it's not going to work. I still love to see it, so it's kind of a torn situation there. But again, thank you so much for watching. I don't have a clear MVP, so let me know down in the comments. I really do appreciate all the time and attention to give these videos. I know ladders usually don't get as much attention as the 7v7s and the settings and the dual gaps and all that. But thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one.